Hello and welcome to Chartwise Women. My name's Erin Swenlin from decisionpoint.com, and I am here with my lovely host, Mary Ellen McGonagle from MEM Investment Research. How are you doing today, Mary Ellen?
I am doing fine. It was a little bit of a wacky Wednesday today, and but we are skating through it, and I look forward to today's show.
Absolutely. It's going to be
Yep.
so much fun. Before we get started, though, I have to say I absolutely adore your scarf. That is so beautiful.
Really? Oh my gosh, thank you. I have to tell you, my many years when I was traveling for business, this scarf made its way to my wardrobe and it's traveled the globe. So if my scarf could talk.
Well, we'll go there.
Thank you.
But yes, world traveling scarf. I love it.
Yes.
Well, today I'm very excited because we are going to be talking about our anchor point, which is all about gratitude. And, you know, on a previous show we did a little while back, we talked about how much we adore and love our jobs. And so I think this really is appropriate as kind of a follow-on to that, talking about, our favorite indicators. But ultimately, we're doing this with, as you always say, Mary Ellen, with an eye toward bridging the gap, taking you over that bridge, taking our hand to you, grabbing yours and helping you walk across that bridge so that you can be comfortable in investing like Mary Ellen and I are. You know, we have been educated and experienced at this. And, you know, one of the things that I'm grateful for is the opportunity to sit here and not only be an investor and involved in this, but to be a teacher as well.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. That is a big part of our work. And one of the most rewarding, really, is to be able to share our many years of experience and to help other people not just get comfortable, but to learn from our experience. And so today we are going to be talking, of course, all about that. I won't let the cat out of the bag. I'll let you share.
So we're talking about things we're thankful for. And one of the thoughts we had as far as our anchor point was to go into our favorite indicators, the things that we're grateful for that really help us with our jobs and that you can incorporate as well in your investing world, in whether you're a beginner or advanced. I think gratitude and understanding, what those really just what works for us. You know, we're helping you out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these are time-tested indicators and they really work. So I think it's going to be fun to share how we use them. And again, as always, so that you can also put these indicators into your tool belt and just help outperform the markets.
Certainly. So let's go ahead. Let's dive on into Chart Chat, which is one of our favorite parts of the show. We're going to share some charts of our favorite indicators and, what is working for us. I'm going to let you start. I'm so grateful that you are my partner today.
Oh my goodness. Likewise, I am very, very pleased to start. The first chart, and I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of course, indicators that I find very, very useful. And we are going to just take a look at sector rotation. Now, that is a big part of my work because historical precedent tells us that getting that industry group and then the sector and that sub-industry group right is half the equation. So it's going to account for half of your price movement. So we are looking at a daily price chart of the consumer discretionary. You can use really any of those 11 S&P 500 sectors. And I am sharing with you a daily price chart from my early October MEM Edge report. And at that point in time, I did highlight that consumer discretionary stocks did break out of a multi-month base to new highs. And really that's quite evident. But as it relates to indicators, the RSI had already been trending upward, and it was still in positive territory. And then I also use, and that is a momentum indicator that can be really quite useful as far as telling you whether that stock or that sector is in a nice uptrend. From there, I also, for these industry groups, as well as for the broader markets, I use a faster moving momentum indicator called Stochastics. And for here, there's two items that you will want to pay attention to. One is the crossover, black line up through the red, indicating a shift in near-term momentum because we're looking at a daily price chart. And then also the position of those stochastics. So upon the breakout of consumer discretionary, we also saw stochastics turn positive. They traded up above this net neutral 50 area into positive territory, and you can see how it foretold a very significant advance into discretionary stocks that is really getting a little bit iffy at this point in time, but certainly hopefully you can see how those indicators can really help you get that, at least that sector piece of the puzzle right.
I love that. And
yeah.
What's funny is, you know, we talked before the program about our favorite indicators, and I said, okay, I know you're going to talk about RSI and stochastics. So
I hate
use
being
them as
predictable.
well. I use them as well. And I didn't want to step on your feet there because I know we both use them. And I'll be perfectly honest, the stochastics is something that I have only recently started using because it is so very short term. And I find it to be extraordinarily helpful. I never really saw the not the use of it. I've always been about keeping it simple, so I try not to put too much on the chart, but I've been a little guilty of that of late. But I'm finding that stochastics are really a primary indicator that I love to use as well for the short.
Super. Yeah. Wow. Very good. Add it to your arsenal. And again, it is going to be faster moving, but in these dicier markets, certainly throughout this year, we've had our fair share of pullbacks and turnarounds. This stochastic is going to be a little faster and more forward looking. So I have found it to be quite useful.
Did you have
I have other charts, yes. Absolutely, sure. So from here, let us take a look at a daily price chart. And I'm going to share with you again, you will see I keep the chart simple. So you're going to see a lot of the same indicators in use here. This is Farfetch FTCH, and I use this. It's just a great example as far as getting you into a stock. I do use the MACD, moving average, convergence, divergence down here on a daily price chart for entry points. As that black line goes up through the red, it's signaling upside momentum. And so it did help get me into this particular stock, but it is easy to get into stocks from my work, and really Erin, you as well, of course, is how equally important it is to have an exit strategy. So I'm going to share with you my exit strategy with FTCH on this daily chart. And it was the RSI turning negative, but it was in line with the stock breaking below this 50-day simple moving average. And then we had that MACD black line through the red, signaling the shift of momentum into the downside. And really take a look at how powerfully effective that is. And this is, I can go over chart after chart, and you will see that same exit strategy. Sorry, let me just, I did have another example here with Peloton as far as getting out of that stock back here in February with that price break below the 50-day, coupled with the RSI and the MACD now down here in negative territory. And really, Peloton has not come back and seen the light of day. And then this week, this significant price drop. I do have other charts. I'm not sure if we are.
Okay. I'll give you another chart.
Okay, super, great. Okay, I did want to do this because I wanted to share with you how you can use the weekly chart and the very same momentum indicators. Now, the weekly chart will provide you with insight that will take you further than just the next couple of days. So here we're looking at a weekly chart of PayPal, PY, PL, And what I am using again are these moving averages. This is a 10-week, 50-day, or 40-week, 200-day. So PayPal at this point in time, the beginning of 2020, it broke back above. This is coming out of that bear market. It was a nice big winner for me. It broke back above these moving averages. But again, the RSI turned positive in line with that on the weekly chart. And then your MACD just came into positive territory. So again, this weekly chart is really going to provide you that longer term insight. And in fact, PayPal, it was almost 12 months that I had this stock on the suggested holdings list for subscribers, and it was a nice big winner.
And I'm sure your subscribers are grateful to you for
that is a very good
picks.
Yeah, that is a great point. And the beauty here, we talked about how this is rewarding, how we're sharing our knowledge, and I get 2 to 3 emails a week from subscribers that are actually, they express their gratitude, and boy, that's fuel for the tank, right?
Absolutely is. I know that I love hearing from my subscribers, and even those of you out there who don't subscribe to me, and I'm sure Mary Ellen as well. We always welcome email. Certainly we read all of your comments on our videos, so definitely keep those going. Share the video because that will make us grateful as well.
Sure. And then if I had just a minute to use this weekly on the negative side as it relates to that longer term outlook, once we see PayPal breaking below the 50-day simple moving average here in August, and then this MACD breaking down, it did foretell a very lengthy decline.
Absolutely did. You know, these indicators really, I'm like I said, I use the RSI and the stochastics. I find them to be excellent. And I'm sure having these, the ability to have different time frames, the weekly chart is absolutely necessary to give you that intermediate term look, especially if you're a longer term investor. Can go off of that daily chart, but certainly the weekly and even monthly deserve a view as well.
Sure. Combining them is even more powerful, of course. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got some to share as well.
All right.
Funny, I came up with Hershey Foods. I'm very thankful for chocolate in my life. But it actually came up on one of my scans. It's the stock is really looking good right now for me. But I wanted to point out my first indicator that I'm very grateful for, and that is the price momentum oscillator. This is an indicator that my father came up with. I helped him with the math and the algebra. He told me what he wanted. He kind of set it up, and then I helped him translate it into a formula. And it's absolutely, I just love this indicator. And it's a measure of momentum, which is really the measure of acceleration. I always talk about it as being a foot on the accelerator. You know, when you're pushing the foot down on the accelerator, that's when you're seeing it move up. And when you start letting your foot off the accelerator, that's when it'll start to move down. So it's measuring that acceleration of the price. So I have this chart of the PMO, and I've marked in green where the PMO had started to turn up, and I marked in red where the PMO had started to turn down. And I think it's pretty obvious that how powerful this indicator can be measuring momentum. And honestly, Mary Ellen, you talked about the MACD as an indicator as well. This is very, very similar to it. And as a momentum trader, I'm very grateful to have this indicator. But you can see when the price momentum oscillator started to turn down, that's when you started to get the information that you might want to get out of it. That gave you some time on that pullback. And then when the PMO started to turn itself back up, that helped you lead right on into some more movement to the upside. And right now, my PMO is just turned up. Those stochastics you talked about have just turned up, and that RSI has just turned positive. So the PMO chart, I think, really shows it all. The other chart I'm going to show you is my Swenlin trading oscillators. And again, I refer back to my father who created this, who is my ultimate teacher. And these Swenlin trading oscillators, in this case, I've marked the cardinal highs is what we call them, and cardinal lows. So we don't mark every last, top and bottom, but just the ones that really were primary or cardinal, as we call it, like a cardinal number. And you can see just by looking at it, these divergences lead you into these declines. You can also see that usually when this oscillator turns down, you can see it turned down this day, and it gave me information that we were getting ready for a short-term decline. And currently, as we've got this pullback going on, I've been watching my Swenlin trading oscillators, and I've seen these negative divergences, meaning price fall, or the indicator is going downward, but price is going upward. And that is usually a warning sign. So the Swenlin trading oscillators are one. And the other is the golden and silver cross indexes. And again, my father thought this one up. It's actually a pretty easy to understand indicator. But whenever we see a 50-day EMA above a 200-day EMA, that goes into the golden cross index, because a 200-day positive crossover is considered a golden cross. So this tells me how many in the S&P have golden crosses going on. That tells me there's a bullish bias in the long term. Silver cross, it's the opposite. It's not the opposite. It's the 20 and 50-day crossovers. So it's more short term, really an intermediate term indicator. And again, you can see it rising, and it usually starts its rise after these bottoms. And so that's something I've been watching. Let's see, I have the other one is the VIX, the volatility index. And I love this one because it can measure in the very, very short term. This is my VIX. It's a little bit scrunched up there right here on this chart. And there's a lot of other things on here. I apologize. I should have set it up so there weren't so many. In fact, let's go ahead and I'm going to look at this chart instead. I think it'll be better. And there you go. You can now see when it comes up, there it is. There's your VIX down here. I flip it around. Most people put the higher numbers on the top. I put the lower on the bottom. But you can see when we get these punctures, that it usually leads into a price rise if it punctures the bottom. If it punctures the top, typically you're going to see a day or two of movement to the downside. So that is what I'm grateful for. And then my final chart is a chart of Tesla. And it's not an indicator so much. It's something that I think all of our watchers, viewers should consider, especially if they're in a chart called a parabolic move. And I know I've talked about these on a previous show, but these are when the price starts to move really high, really fast, and you want to protect yourself. And one of the things I like to do is use a trailing stop. You can do this with your brokerage. Most apps should allow this. But basically, it's a stop level that travels up with me. So I was in Tesla. I was super excited. This was a great run, but I wanted to protect myself. So I set a rather deep trailing stop of 9%. And it triggered on the big down day here, and I got out right up here where everybody else ended up way down here. Now we're getting that nice rebound, and now I have that cash available if I want. But I have to say, seeing a PMO look like that and Stochastics pointing down, I don't think I'm really interested right now. All right, we have gone way into all of these charts. Hopefully we're not over time, but it's time for our break, and we will be back, and we're going to talk to you a little bit more about gratitude. All right, welcome back from commercial. And we are talking about our anchor point today, which is gratitude and our favorite indicators. But we're going to get a little bit more broad right now and talk about our wisdom of the week. And Mary Ellen, I'm going to let you go first.
Sure.
Yours is great.
Yeah, so I am taking a quote from a very famous spiritual leader, and it is that gratitude in your life is the foundation of all abundance. And that may sound airy-fairy, but there really is relevance here. And I have done a lot of work, certainly with gratitude, and looked at studies. There's a scientific side to me, and I wanted to know, well, now, is there fact there? In fact, yes, there lots of studies have shown that showing an gratitude on a regular basis can actually very much impact you physically and mentally. It can really impact your health. One of the studies I read, I really took to because I do walk with my dogs every day, and it talked about how those individuals, this is part of a study, that in the course of their walk, that they focus on, for instance, the weather, the beautiful weather, the lovely flowers, as opposed to focusing on trash that might be on the path. They, by and large, are generally happier and more productive individuals. So that is certainly, again, something that resonates with me, because as it relates to trading, it's important that you have that proper mindset. And are you coming from a place of strength, of well-being? There's a book called The Path to Wealth, and it's all about giving gratitude, and it's wealth not just physically, but mentally and financially as well.
Mm-hmm. So my wisdom of the week is also a quote, and it is, "No one who achieves success does so without the help of others. The wise and confident acknowledge this help with gratitude." And I talked about my father early on, so I don't know if he's watching this show. I should make him. But I have to send my gratitude to my father for helping me, become knowledgeable about this business. But I also have to thank, my husband who's there for me. I have to thank my kids who pretty much helped me through this. And honestly, I'm really thankful for my viewers and my blog readers, and of course, particularly my subscribers. But I'm really grateful to all of them. And through this, being able to be involved with StockCharts and StockCharts TV, it's really helped me become more confident as well. The more success you have, the more you have other people to see how they are successful and thank them. And honestly, Mary Ellen, I will throw it out to you as well, that you are certainly one of the people I have learned from a great deal doing these shows and working together. And so I am grateful to you.
Oh my goodness. I would have to say right back at you. And you really brought up some wonderful points as far as being grateful for the opportunity that we have to share our knowledge. So very well said.
Yes, and it is important. I think you're right. It has to be a foundation. I often talk about, people are always saying, well, I just want to be at peace. I want to be at peace with that. I want to be at peace. I always think of it this way. I want to be in peace. I want that peaceful feeling around me. Not that I'm at peace with something, but if you start at peace in that presence, then everything else has you have a different view of it. And so
yeah, that's super well said. There's a very highly respected trader, Van Thorpe. He's written many famous books about trading, and he talks about being at one, being at peace with yourself, and that just being such a major component. He works with what are called super traders. These are exceptional traders, and the foundation is that you are at peace. A lot of it is gratitude based, and how it really can excel not only your learning curve, but just improve your trading and the rest of your life as well.
Certainly. And I know we are both grateful for our analysis process. That's what's gotten us here, kept us successful. So, I mean, there's just so many things we could be thankful and grateful for here. But you know what? I think we should talk about our action plan for our viewers and ways that maybe they can become more grateful, or just to kind of take that step to move forward on the path of graciousness and gratitude.
Yeah, so my action plan is really quite basic. There actually are gratitude journals that are out there. I would urge you, even if you try it out for a week, I think you'll see a pronounced difference in your outlook, not only in the markets, but in life. But just jot down, and it can be mentally as well, of course, but those things that you are grateful for as you progress throughout the day. So it's really as basic as that.
I think you're absolutely right. My calendar actually has a space on it that says, I am grateful for, so that every week I have to write in something. And I think it does improve my attitude. And when you invest from an area of a place of confidence and comfort, I think that's great. But also, so for me, my action plan is a little bit different. And really what it is to remember the bad. I know that sounds terrible, but in order to be grateful where you currently are, it's really helpful to remember those hard times that you once experienced, maybe when you just started with this trading, maybe you've had some bad trades, but you should remember how difficult life used to be before a stock chart was in front of you. Think about how far you've come mainly. I mean, that's the big one, because you will be more grateful just understanding the path you've taken, as rough as it may have been. You know, you are progressing every day, and that's what's important. So if you kind of are struggling with being in a place of gratitude, maybe remember the bad, and it will help you move forward in realizing that you've come a long way, baby.
I like that.
Yes, there you are. So we do need to close this out. I wanted to talk a little bit. We should talk a little bit about what we do, where you can find us.
Sure.
I will just say that, decisionpoint.com, that's exactly where I am. That's where you'll find my father as well, who I'm very grateful to. And I have free stuff on the website. And certainly I would love to have you join my family of subscribers. We are a pretty close group.
That's a bonus there, yes. And I am all about MEM Investment Research, and I do have a special offer there for my biweekly MEM Edge report that I hope you'll take advantage of. And yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think that's about it. We're going to have to close it up, but I will say one thing I'm grateful for is being able to stand in front of people, sit in front of people on Zoom and interact and help you to become a better investor.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's been a great show here, I think.
A journey for sure. All right, that's all we have for you this week. I want to wish you happy trading.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.